Hello, Coach Kristin here. Thank you for joining me on Cracked Open with Coach Kristin. I was just called out by a client. Yep, if you watched my premiere episode of this 30-day challenge I'm doing to bring you value, ideas, solutions, and guidance over the next 30 days, you would know that I said I would appear and create something on this channel every day for 30 days. So tonight, I had a call from a client who I absolutely adore. And he's like, so coach, hey, where's day 2? And my first inclination was, it was Easter. I have yoga certification. I have this training. I have that. Like, I'm a busy lady. And then I stopped myself and I thought, I sound like the people that I'm trying to help. Like, what am I doing here? It was like a gut check moment. Do you ever have those where you're like, you catch yourself in an old coping mechanism, like procrastinating for one, and you're like, oh damn, I'm really doing that again, aren't I? So I am a version of Kristin that practices what she preaches. I'm also a version of Kristin that keeps to her word. So massive gratitude to my beloved client for hitting me up and saying, hey coach, I'm waiting on day 2. So thank you. And day 2, here we go. Minus yesterday for Easter. All right, I pulled this up. If you join me in Smart Recovery on Tuesdays, you will know that I often read something at the end of our class. And if you haven't joined me on Tuesday at 5 Pacific on Zoom for free, what the hell are you doing? Because you're missing out. We have a community there of people that are healing, getting tools, gaining knowledge, and doing the work. And it's phenomenal, and it's safe, and it's so loving. So definitely look in the show notes because I have the link down there, and all are welcome. And a little secret for you. 2 secrets for you. You don't have to be on camera. Not in my class, you don't. Don't go to other Smart Recovery classes and be like, Kristin says we don't have to. Mine is one of the rare ones where, they don't know that I let you guys do that. So don't let the cat out of the bag or I'm going to get my hand slapped. If you go to other smart meetings, most of the facilitators do require you to be on camera, but we don't here. And then one more announcement. I am starting pop-up coaching. I want coaching to be more affordable for more people. Therefore, I am offering at all different times pop-up coaching where we will take an hour to an hour and a half and have a group of people in a safe space, just like we do on Tuesday nights, and we will have laser coaching. And it's $22 a session. It's like a cup of coffee and a snack, or whatever, your lunch. Like, pack your bag so you can join me that evening in pop-up coaching. So follow me on social media. All of the things are in the show notes. Let's get to this because this is important. So at the end of Smart, I always read something to send off my students. And usually it's from Yung Pueblo. If you haven't heard of Yung Pueblo, I will put this book down below. And all of his books are phenomenal. He's a writer. He's a poet. He's a trauma survivor. He's in recovery. He's one of us. And he's brilliant. And he has so much wisdom. So what I grabbed to read for you tonight is so powerful. He gives us 4 life lessons. And we're going to talk about each one as we go. Number 1, build inner peace or fall to outer chaos. Mic drop, okay? Build inner peace or fall to outer chaos. Outer chaos? I mean, I live in California in the US. Nothing chaotic going on in my country. I mean, haven't heard anything on the news. I wish that were the case. Now, all of us, every one of you watching this, everyone I run into at the store, every client that I see, every student that I talk to shares with me that the world around us in this day and age is causing them a ton of anxiety, whether it's financial strain, relationship strain, job strain, fear of losing your job, fear of having to go back into the office full time. All of these are happening around all of us. And you can use drugs. You can drink. I see a lot of memes and jokes out in the world right now about people consuming way more alcohol than usual. And what I know to be true is this happened when COVID began as well. Alcohol went through the roof in sales. Unfortunately, people developing severe symptoms and disease and conditions related to alcohol consumption also went off the charts. So let's talk about what you can do instead to find inner peace. So I had the pleasure today of working with a client, and we were talking about choosing again. Because what do we know about responses to the chaos in the world around us? We can fight, and we do. We can flight, and we do. We can freeze, and we do. We doom scroll. We consume drugs or alcohol. We consume social media. We consume the news. And these are all forms of erupting like a volcano, further chaos. Now, listen closely. I'm not saying don't be informed, okay? A lot of people are commenting, saying things like, we have to be informed. Okay, I agree. I'm an informed individual. I pay attention to what's going on. Now, there's a difference between paying attention and being consumed. So if we go back to Yung Pueblo, he says, build inner peace or fall to outer chaos. So when I was working with my client, I shared with them that there's another response that they can choose. You don't have to choose fight, flight, freeze, hide, cry. You can also choose pause, breathe, respond. Pause, breathe, respond. Notice that's a big difference from fight, flight, freeze, react. That's what a lot of us are doing out there. When you pause and you breathe and you choose to do something that is soothing to your nervous system, such as get out in nature, go for a walk, call someone that you love, listen to something uplifting, a book, a podcast, something that you can learn from, something that you can grow from, something that is nurturing to you, a coping mechanism that feels nurturing to you. That creates expansion. When we seek peace, we pause, we breathe, we calm down, and there's room for expansion. There's room for clarity. Solutions are found in the pause. Many of you know this. I'm training to be a yoga instructor so that I can use yoga to help my clients and students. And in yoga, we hold some really hard poses for a long time. Little beads of sweat come up and I'm like shaking. And then after, we go into child's pose, or we lay on our backs in corpse pose for a little bit. And the magic happens in the pause. The magic happens in taking time to practice the pause and respond versus fight and react. One of the ways that you can do this is by incorporating, practicing, utilizing different breathing exercises. I have one that I use frequently called 4 square breathing, and it's so simple. So I'm going to share it with you to give you an example of what works when you have to practice the pause. This also works for cravings. This works for urges. This works if someone flips you off on the freeway. Okay, you know who I'm talking to. Road rage. There are a couple people who I love and adore that are hearing this part and they're like, am I being called out on Kristin's show right now? Yes, you are. When you want to go off on someone and road rage, or go off on someone at work, or go off on someone on social media, you are raising your cortisol. You are raising your stress hormone. You are raising your anxiety. You are raising your blood pressure. That person is entirely unaffected. You may be sitting in the car, flipping them off, and they are just on their way. But now you have to take a blood pressure pill. Or now you get to go home to your family on your way home from work with your cortisol spiked up to here, and it takes you the rest of the night to calm down. Practice the pause and respond instead. And I'm going to say, hey, if anyone's in tech and they know how I can fix that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to take it as the universe is saying, Kristin, this is a badass episode and deserves some congratulatory balloons, because that's what's going on here. When you practice the pause, tell yourself, stop. We're going to pause here. We're going to take a breath and we're going to hold a beat, because we don't need to be raising our cortisol. We don't need to be choosing just from fight, flight, or freeze when we have the option to pause and soften into possibly a response, possibly a no response. No response is a powerful response. And possibly rest. So one of the ways you can usher your body into this, if it's real drastic, like a craving or an urge, or something has set you off and you need right away, grab a bowl, fill it with ice, put some water in it, and stick your hand in it. It'll short circuit your brain's ability to be able to keep sending you intrusive thoughts, because all of your brain power now goes to, my hand is going to turn blue if I don't take it out of this water. So that is a super fast short circuit trick. This next one is really powerful, only takes a few minutes, and nobody can tell you're doing it. It's kind of like Kegels. Like if you're a woman and you do Kegels, like if you're good at it, like I'm doing them right now, you can't even tell. So it's kind of like that, but different. So that was a weird segue. Back on track. So you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold, Breathe out for 4 seconds. Hold. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. And they call it box breathing or 4 square breathing because it goes in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In that space, you're giving your body, your brain, your heart, your soul, they're all intertwined, P.S., time to pause. And then you get to decide, do I even want to respond? All right, let me know if you tried either the ice cube trick or the 4 square breathing trick and how it worked for you. Number 2, being flexible does not mean giving up. Okay, Yung Pueblo has not met Kristin Fuller because I can rationalize anything. If you're wondering why I keep biting, I had a wisdom tooth taken out 2 months ago and it's still affecting my speech. And it makes me a little bit self-conscious. So I'm just going to out myself right now and talk about it because that's what we do when we're brave and authentic. So if you ever see me like wincing or making a weird gesture, it's because it's still affecting me 2 months later. But we're getting there. Takes time. Healing takes patience and time. All right. So when we are flexible, it does not mean we're giving up. Yesterday, I was flexible to myself. I gave myself the day off from creating content. Now, that is okay. I'm not giving up. But here's what would have happened if my client didn't say, where's day 2? I probably wouldn't have made a video tonight. I'm just being real with you. I probably wouldn't have, because creating content every day for 30 days isn't yet in my daily practice. I'm still working on it. So part of this process is learning where to fit it, is learning it doesn't matter if I'm wearing stuff that looks like pajamas to record, because guess what? No one cares. They care that they are receiving information that helps them live a better life. That's what they care about. And it doesn't matter how I'm dressed or who walks in or what my dog does while we are together in this time. So I can be flexible while sticking with my commitment. So Yung Pueblo says, being flexible does not mean giving up. Thankfully, there's no giving up here. We stick to our commitments. Now, when someone is on a quitting, I'm just going to use alcohol because that's so relatable to so many people. Excuse me. When someone is on a quitting or changing their relationship with alcohol journey, the flexibility that I want you to give to yourself doesn't necessarily mean moderation. Why did I just say that? Do I not support moderation? No, I do. I just want you to be able to see what it feels like to not lean into it at all if you're using it as a coping mechanism. So that is why I say that. So for example, flexibility there means I am focusing on changing my relationship with alcohol. Therefore, I'm going to be flexible in other areas of my life for the next 90 days. That looks like I'm changing my relationship with alcohol. So I'm going to be gentle on myself with sugar, or I'm changing my relationship with alcohol. So I'm going to be gentle on myself with hitting it hard at the racks at the gym 2 hours a night which if you know me, I'm not a huge proponent of anyway, but different strokes for different folks. I'm going to stick to the facts here. So when someone allows flexibility, they're not attached to the outcome. They're attached or lovingly guided by the journey itself. Okay, let's go on to rule 3. Appreciate the closest friends in your life. Yes. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I have a saying that I absolutely treasure. And it says, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. That refers to a lot of us have tons of friends or followers or people on social media or neighbors or people we hang out with. And that's great. And I want you to really, really pay close attention to those 4 quarters. Okay? Because your 4 quarters are people who will answer the phone if you call them at 3 a.m. Those 4 quarters are the ones who will be by your bedside if you go to the hospital. Those 4 quarters are the ones that you prioritize with your attention. Here's why. With social media, with being able to work from home, with different kind of work setups, like we form friendships and relationships with people often based on proximity. And it can feel like I see this person every day. They're a really close friend. And for some people that may be 100% true. And to that I say, that's phenomenal. I don't want you to confuse close proximity with actual friendship. Friendship, in actuality, is similar. I've heard the analogy used as a bank account. If you have a friend and say your friendship is a bank account and you make deposits and they make deposits, and sometimes you need to write a check and receive some guidance or attention from your friend. And sometimes they need a check and they need to receive some guidance and attention from you. You're both equally reciprocating in the friendship. Now, as a former people pleaser, and if you are one, you know exactly what I'm talking about, we tend to overcompensate in our friendships. We are the ones always to answer the phone. We are the ones always to give guidance or suggestions or solutions. We are the ones that are like, oh yes, I'll be right there. I can bring that, or I can be there for you. And then when it's our turn, crickets. That is not a balanced bank account friendship. So, honor, prioritize, treasure, leave deposits in the account of your 4 quarters, of your closest friends, your ride or dies, they're called. So that's that. On to rule 4. Challenging times do not last forever. Thank God and everything holy for that. My best friend and mentor shared with me, to everything, good, bad, indifferent, lovely, frightening, everything, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. I shared with you in the last video how at the beginning of the year, I was part of a massive scam that involved tens of thousands of dollars being totally misused in my name, and just felt like it was never going to end. The feeling of just being constantly violated, constantly my privacy being messed with, constantly in fear every time I opened an email or a text, felt like it was never gonna end. And yet, here I am 3 months later, smiling, living, surviving, and healing. And it's not even all the way over yet, but we're closer to the end than we were at the beginning of the year. So guess what? That's a good thing. If we zoom out and take a bigger picture look at things, this applies to all things in our human experience, even the good things. So soak them up. If you celebrated Easter yesterday with your family, or you happen to be a mom like me and you have children that you maybe made Easter baskets for, or made treats for, you made something lovely to bring to your families for holiday dinner. I hope that you really soaked up that time that you got to spend creating something loving and nurturing, because that is the goal. When things are good, soak them up. Talk about how good they are. Talk about how grateful you are to get to experience them. And then when things are bad, it's almost the same. Talk about them. Connect with others who are having similar experiences. Talk about what you're experiencing. And then you'll talk to other people that are like, yeah, Kristin, I went through identity theft too. It was terrifying. You feel less alone. Loneliness is a huge epidemic in our world, especially since COVID. I know that 2020 feels like it was a far away time and place, but there are still a lot of people suffering from the epidemic of loneliness as a result of the pandemic of COVID. There is some research that suggests feeling lonely can equal the cancer risk of smoking cigarettes. Feeling lonely and isolated and disconnected and not belonging is as dangerous to human beings as some things that we're very familiar with causing cancer and disease. So I urge you tonight, think about these 4 rules. Think about what you can do differently, what you can try on. I use that term often with my clients. You don't have to adopt this or any of these rules as like a whole new way of living. However, you can decide, you know what, I'm going to try on prioritizing my 4-quarter friends and see what happens if I don't use as much time in my life or energy in my life or words out of my mouth or breath out of my lungs to console the one friend that is kind of just a taker. And we all have friends like that. It's up to us to determine how long we want to let that go for. How long do you want to foster friendships who bounce checks in your friendship account? It's a powerful question. So I love having these conversations with you. If anything that I said tonight resonated with you, or you have any questions, or you want further guidance, I would love to have those conversations with you. Down in the bottom, I do include all different ways that you can get a hold of me, that we can talk, we can exchange ideas, we can work together. And I would love to have the honor of offering you a private, free, complimentary coaching session. So please email me, message me, let me know if you would like to take me up on that. There are no strings attached. None at all. Guidance, an hour coaching session, and we see if we're a good match to work together. And if you decide that we are, and I decide that we are, it's a two-way street. Then we can do some coaching, some healing, some growing. And I look forward to that. Also, please comment below what you want to learn about. I love coming up with topics, but I love even more learning what you want to know about. So please comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your ideas, what you're going to try on, and what you want to learn more about. I look forward to doing this work with you. Thank you. Bye for now.